Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Zed for me, and today what I wanted to talk about was how my experience at the dealership went after I flashed my car back to stock. So I'm currently flashing my car back to stage 1.5 Eurodyne, and I wanted to take this time to basically explain how my dealership experience went, what I actually had done, and whether or not they were actually able to help me with the Dsg transmission, which was the main reason I was going to the dealership. So just give me a second here while I open up Flash Tools from Eurodyne. So basically I went to the dealership about 2 to 3 weeks ago, and about a month ago or so I posted up a video of me flashing this car back to stock and bringing it back to the dealership. I know a lot of people were interested in whether or not I would get TD1 and whether or not they would actually be able to update my DSG software, firmware at least, so that the jerky downshifts would be gone. So when I got to the dealership, there were a couple of things I wanted them to look into other than the DSG transmission. First of which was the AC being a little bit smelly. I remember, if you guys remember, there's an earlier video about me switching over the cabin air filter. That in itself did not really fix the smell. So I went to the dealership and asked them for, I think, a total of 4 things. Number one, I asked them if they could figure out what's going on with the AC smell and whether or not they could fix it. Their response to that after it was all said and done was that after about a year, it becomes like a general maintenance thing, the cabin air filter, and kind of just like, I think they basically bombed the car like I did after they changed the cabin air filter. And that, they said, would cost me, I think, $160. So I definitely opted out of that. I told them not to do it. But it kind of stinks, quite literally, that after a year, the AC can smell and it becomes a general maintenance item, which is not covered under warranty. I would hope that, you know, they don't expect you to change out the cabin air filter once a year, but I guess they do. So it was $160 that I decided not to do. Next thing that I asked them to do was to check the navigation to see if there were any updates to the firmware there. They said they checked, but there was nothing available. No big deal. I didn't really expect anything out of that. The third thing that I asked the dealership to do was to replace the Volkswagen car key battery, because it started showing up on the dash that it was ready to be replaced. That was my wife's key, so they were actually able to do that for me, which was great. You know, I posted that video a little bit back about me changing the car key battery to a larger size battery. That was actually my car key battery, which is really funny because I guess both of our keys lasted about a year and a half, a little bit more than that. But I rarely use my key. I maybe use my key once a week, or maybe once every other week even. Most of the time when I'm driving this car, you know, my wife has her key, so I don't need to actually bring it with me. But it's interesting to see that both keys lasted about a year and a half with her heavy daily usage versus me, where the key basically sits in a bedroom most of the time. So now our key fobs both have new batteries in them, mine with the larger one and hers with the smaller one. As you can see, the flash is going on right now, and a lot of these faults are showing up on a dash, which is totally normal. As you can see, the flash process takes like about 15 minutes to 20 minutes, and you just gotta basically wait for it to do its thing while it beeps. So on the topic of car key fobs and batteries, Steel Unique Shop sent me these really nice steel keychains. So they're a company that basically makes these steel keychains for a bunch of different cars. They sent me over 2, one with the R logo, which I really like. This is the one that I'm gonna keep. And this other one over here is the front end of the Volkswagen Golf R, but I don't know how well the GoPro is going to be able to pick it up, but they were actually able to engrave my Z for me onto basically where the license plate would have sat. So that's really cool that they were able to do these custom keychains and send them over my way. I'll leave a link in the description where you can get these keychains. They're actually not that expensive. I thought they would be even more. But something that is custom is usually around $20, whereas one of their pre-made ones costs less than that. So you can get like a custom steel keychain, really high quality. It's not going to bend. It's actually really tough steel. I'm not really sure what kind of steel they use, but definitely a high grade steel Even these like little areas where the grill is really strong, and it's quite thick. So my wife was really happy with these when I surprised her and said, hey look, I got you a keychain for your key fob. She really likes them, and she really wants one that can show that the car is actually a hatchback, and she was like, this kind of looks like a Jetta. But I told her, hey, there's a little R logo in the front, and it has my YouTube channel's name on it. So I gave that to her. She really likes it. I personally really like this, you know, R logo right here, which is what I keep on my keychain. So definitely check them out. They have so many different types of cars, not just Volkswagens, obviously. They have all these different cars, and they can even make you custom ones if you if that's what you want. So check them out in the description below. So on to the final thing that I asked the dealership to actually take care of, which is the Dsg transmission. I asked them, you know, is there any firmware update available for the car? And they told me after it was all said and done that there wasn't. So you guys know I actually have a dash cam in my car, and the technician who went to drive my car to basically to test whether or not like the downshifts were actually jerky. You can kind of hear him like grumbling in the background when he goes to park my car in the parking lot. He's like, oh, that's how these cars are, blah, blah, blah. Like, I think he was a really grumpy technician. So at the end of the day, I'm not 100% sure if they even checked if there was a DSG firmware update. Kind of whack, I know, but at the same time, I don't want to say anything bad about them because I don't know whether or not they checked. My guess was if other people were able to actually get the DSG firmware update, why wouldn't it be available for my car? But then again, like really, I'm not accusing anybody of not doing their job. I'm just saying that it's a little bit weird that there weren't any navigation or DSG updates available for the car when other people were actually able to get them from their dealers. So that was a little bit odd to me, but please don't take this as I'm saying they're not doing their job. Maybe they are, and maybe there really wasn't anything available on their end. I don't really know for sure 100%. So basically that leaves me into thinking whether or not I'm going to get a DSG tune. There is one available from Eurodyne. I believe it's around $375, maybe a little bit less, because I also have the tune. So we'll have to take a look and see if I want to do that. I did do some reading online, and I'm not 100% convinced that I want to do it yet because there are some complaints that it really doesn't do much. At the same time, I'd have to see if anyone can give me some sort of review whether or not the DSG tune really makes a big difference and really wakes up the car. Really, the main things that I would want out of the DSG tune is obviously to have those downshifts be less jerky. And when I've actually put this car into sport mode, when it actually downshifts at a higher RPM, it's completely smooth. So what that tells me is that probably just at the lower RPMs in drive mode, when the RPMs get really low and then it gets pulled up, it doesn't really do like a auto rev match thing. So that's why it's jerky. So hopefully with the DSG tune, if the mode drive is actually going to allow the RPMs to stay just a little bit higher, I'm hoping that'll actually be able to solve the jerky DSG downshifts. I'm not really sure. Other than that, I would really hope that the DSG tune allows me to hold gears, which I believe it does in manual mode. You can hold a gear at the rev limiter, so that'll be more fun for, you know, when I'm hooning around in the wintertime, for example. And like I said, the original tune really likes to hold the RPMs as low as possible. So instead of like going past 2000 RPM when you're on light throttle, it just goes right to the next gear down to like 1400 RPM, and it pulls up from there. That's something that I'm not 100% convinced I'd like. And so if the DSG tune can actually make the revs hang just a little bit higher, then definitely it would be worth it for me. So if you guys have any opinions or have any reviews of the Eurodyne DSG tune, I'd be happy to hear it from you guys. Or if you have any links to reviews that you've read that you thought were very helpful, I'd appreciate if you guys left a link below as well. So really the final thing that I think people really want to know with my dealership experience is whether or not I got TD1'd. And what TD1 is basically a way for the dealership to say, hey, your engine was tuned, you did this modification, that modification, and allows them to void your warranty for that specific thing. Now, basically, to get to the point, no, they did not TD1 me. No, they did not know that my car was tuned and flashed back to stock. If they did and didn't tell me and I'm actually TD1, that's another story, although I really doubt that. I'm pretty sure they would let me know, hey, you know, your car was tuned, maybe that's why your Dsg transmission wasn't working very well. However, they didn't say anything, so my guess is that either they didn't hook it up to check, or they just actually TD1 me in the background and denies, and in the future they'll deny any warranty if there's any issue with my engine. More than likely, I'm guessing they didn't check, so I'm not really worried about actually being TD1'd in the background right now. Also, another thing was that I had the Remus responder inside the driver's side like small glove box. No, I don't think they saw it. They didn't open it up. And honestly, if I was a technician, I wouldn't go around looking for every little thing that may cause the engine or the Dsg transmission to act a little bit faulty. So with the Remus responder still in the glove box, they never really saw that, and it wasn't really an issue. Now, I know there's a lot of misconceptions out there about what TD1 is and whether or not it voids all your warranty, stuff like that. A little bit further down the line, I'll probably be making a video in terms of all the research that I've gathered when it comes to TD1 and what that actually means. However, just for those of you guys who were wondering, I did not get TD1'd as far as I know. One further thing that I think some people were asking that I did want to answer was how the car felt when it was actually flashed back to stock. I really only have one analogy that I think really works well, and it's like basically when you go to the gym a lot and you start taking supplements, you feel really strong, right? That's what I feel like the flash really does for the car. It really wakes it up and it really makes it, basically takes it to the next level. And then you know how sometimes if you stop like taking supplements and then you go to the gym, you know, you're still able to work out, but you just don't feel as strong and you're not able to actually handle as much weights as you would when you were on supplements. That's how I kind of feel like the car is in stock mode. It's certainly not a slow car when it's stock, but at the same time, when you go from stage 1.5 tune to stock tune, you can definitely tell a difference when you get on it. It really makes a big difference, especially on the highway. When you step on it on the highway, you could definitely tell that the stage 1.5 tune really wakes up the car. Regular around the town driving, not really a big difference because the tune really does make use of the turbo, which spools up. It says like max torque at like 1800 RPM, but certainly you really feel it coming around 3,000 or 4,000 RPM. So when you're just cruising around town, you really don't feel a difference. In fact, my wife didn't even notice that I flashed it back to stock for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, until I asked her if the car felt any different. So that definitely tells me that, you know, for her at least, she's not really revving it out to go to work every day. So that's why she doesn't really tell that I flashed the car back to stock. Now I'm flashing this car back to stage 1.5 right now. Next plan will basically be to get a DSG tune if I do choose to. Again, looking forward to your comments and seeing if there's any reviews out there that I could read into to tell me if it's going to be worth it or not. So that's basically it for this update video. I appreciate you guys watching and keeping up. And if you guys have any questions, just leave it in the comments below and I'll see you guys in the next one.